name is Jim Ronzello, and I'm an engine prototype mechanic. Got a job at an engine shop, working on stuff. Ended up there 10 years, but that was my vehicle really to get hired here at Ford Motor Company and work with internal combustion engines. Okay, so I'm hired in to do prototype engine work. However, because of my experience at the engine shop, I had a supervisor come up and say, "How do you feel about teaching an engine familiarization class?" Well, I did it. Probably had 2,000 people come through this class since about 1995. So it's part of what I do here. Probably twice a month now I do this engine class. So if you look around, there's a lot of different engines in here. Basically, there's a lot of parts that I took out of the trash, and I keep those parts here because it's a lot easier to answer questions from people like yourselves to show them how the things work. Okay, so we need safety glasses to go further back. Once we get in the back here, so everybody's got to grab their safety glasses, including me. We're going to head back to the area where I work in now, which was here as well before. Right now, we have a lot of machine equipment in this particular room, but this was the exact room I hired in and worked at for probably 10 years, okay, prior to the move. We have machinists that work in here that aid all the different engineers at Ford. So they'll come in with a print, they'll make tools, they'll make different parts, different little parts for new ideas and engineering for the new cars. What we got going on here, these are hot test cells. There's 4 cells, 4 separate rooms. And this whole room area here that we just walked into is known as the silent room at Ford Motor Company. And there's a little bit of a historical value there, but it was named the silent room back then, and we still know it as the silent room today. To be able to work in an area that was an area that Henry Ford may have worked in at one time or another. I kind of like that part. Basically, we have these different panels, and we'll take our new engines and we'll hook them up to the panels and actually start them up. Pretty diverse what we got going on here. As over here, we got this little 3-cylinder engine. Only 3 little pistons, as engines nowadays have gotten very small over the last few years, right, with fuel economy and different things going on in the world. So we're going to sell 3-cylinder cars. Yet over here we have this huge 5.2 not a race engine, but it goes in a hot rod Mustang basically. Back when I was a kid in the 60s, my brother, who was 10 years older than me, brought his hot rods and his friends all over, and next thing you know, I was just in love with cars. So one thing led to another, started racing them, but unfortunately not enough money to really race a car, so I had to work on it myself. Well, the Cobra Jet program is primarily where the manufacturer ties with the NHRA to get involved in sportsman racing. This is not professional racing. This is sportsman people that work every day. So they, Ford, GM, and Chrysler all have sold cars. Ford just builds 50 a year. I think GM builds 69 a year for the last few years, specifically for these NHRA drag classes. So Chevrolet's got the Copo Camaro and Chrysler's got their drag pack Challengers. But the Cobra Jets, I mean, we've built 50 in 2008, 10, 12, 13, 14. What's that? 250 cars were sold to the general public. Some of them were raced, some of them were put on collector's shelves. And then some were prototypes. So there's a few mules out there, like say this one. This was the very first car of the program. And the reason I can say that is because I was invited to the first meeting when they asked about NHRA. So it was a great opportunity. This car was actually a Shelby convertible prototype car that originally they wanted me to build as a Shelby. But 3 months into the program, they quickly said, the drag program, I could say, that's when they came up with this Cobra Jet program. So this was 3 months prior. This is going to be a Shelby, ended up a Cobra Jet. We hold the record in FSC, it's a factory stock class, and coincidentally we do use one of the factory Cobra Jets. It was a test car as well, but we were fortunate enough to purchase it in a state where we could get it together and race it in a class, and we set the record last year at Indy with it. Yep. People seem to think it's Cobra Jet Central. Yeah, I've been told that before, but quite honestly, no. I formed a partnership with George Wright. He's got his own website, 9500rpm.com, and on that you can see that we built, I believe there was a dozen cars we actually built in this room sitting right here with Cobra Jet cars. George has built a couple of his own prior, but this was the first, and it's still sitting in the spot that we built it, even though we've run it quite a bit. It's back there because we're making some changes right now. I don't know how you feel about Henry Ford, but to me, he's a hero. He's a local hero that actually, I feel fortunate to be able to work at a company that he started and the family still owns, so it's kind of cool. Kind of unique in the world we're in now.